Hi guys, so today I'm going to show you how to fine tune some of your newfound skills in Photoshop. So over the last few videos we've learned about how to make backgrounds black or of a certain colour. We've learned how to isolate colours and how to make a mask and a few little bits like that. Excuse me. So what we want to do today is, now that we know the basics, we need to start looking to see how we can perfect and to improve those skills and do a little bit more finer detail. So Kath Davies has asked me to look at this particular photograph. It's a brilliant Halloween photograph. I think it's of her daughter, very attractive young lady. And Kath's done a brilliant job of masking out the background to give that back or that black background effect, which is done really, really well. The one thing that Kath was a bit worried about, and I can understand why, is if you take a closer look at the glass in the young lady's hand, you can see, although the background is obviously really black, the detail inside the glass doesn't really reflect what's going on behind. It looks wrong. So what we're trying to do now, we're going to try and fine tune some of our, like I said, some of our skills, so we can improve the look of our whole picture. And so that's what we're going to look at. Okay, it's going to be a relatively short video, this one, but I hope you learn something from it. So this isn't as difficult as you might think. Okay, so before we go any further, the one thing that we should always do, we should get into a habit of doing this if you want to make any changes in Photoshop, is to copy your background layer, because that way it's not very destructive, and if we need to, we can always go back to our original and we've done no damage to it whatsoever. So the best way to do that is just taking the control key and the letter J. So control and J, and there we go. We've now got a background, we've got a copy of our background layer. So as I said, this picture looks brilliant, and she's done a brilliant job on this as Kath. But what we need to do is to bring this glass into play, and it's not as difficult as you might think. So first things first, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can put the glass front and center so we can see exactly what we're trying to do. And then it's just a case of, what we need to do is to isolate the glass. We just need to make that the subject of our next action. So okay, over to our tools, and we go down to this our refine edge brush. Yeah, a quick selection brush. Sorry. So we go quick selection, and then all we need to do is to select our glass. Okay, that's fairly straightforward, isn't it? Just select the glass. So I don't want to do all of this. I just want to do the bit that's hazy on the top for this first part of our exercise. So as you can see, it's gone a little bit too far, but that's okay. All I need to go up to our little brushes at the top. You've got a plus and a minus. Go to the minus, and that will take away, and just gently come back in until that just covers our glass. Take the fingers out of play. Maybe we got a little bit too far there, just a little bit, not major. Yeah, just like that. And also I want to take out the liquid, and I'll come back to the liquid in a second. Okay, so basically I'll just minus the liquid, and there you go. Photoshop finds it all on its own. So now I have isolated the glass. What I don't want to do is just paint that black. If I was just to paint that all black, it would look completely wrong. What we want to do is try and make that part of the glass in keeping. It's got a nice highlight on there, so we want to keep that. So all I need to do in effect is go up to my adjustment panel over on my right hand side of my tools, if you like, and I'm going to select levels, which is this little graph looking little icon. I'm going to click on the levels. Now, I explained this to you before. So these little slider buttons dictate our brightness and our darkness and our contrast, basically. So everything on the left is our dark. So if I was to move our dark cursor towards the center, it would brighten things. It'll take it towards the light, or darken it. Darken it. Yeah, you can see already we're getting somewhere. Yeah. If I take our white slider to the left, it will brighten it. And the little chap in the middle is our midtones. So if you remember, if you know anything about how photography works, you know everything in photography is based around a mid-grey. So anything more than grey or anything less than grey. So that's what this basically looks at. And you can see, in fact, that the part of the glass that we want to change is really grey. So that would be a mid-tone type effect. So all I'll do is, if I go into our midtones and I actually turn that towards and start to darken it, you can see, just very slowly, just little bit by little bit, you can see it starts to darken our selection. But while it darkens it, it actually leaves our highlights in play. So I kind of think that looks really good. So if I was to zoom out, bang, that looks so much better. If I was to take that off, you can see before and after. That's a lot more in keeping with our image. If I wanted to make this even better, what I would do, I would go back to our layer 1, which is the copy layer, and I would take our quick selection tool again. This time I'm going to go to the bottom half of the glass, the red part, if you like, of the wine or the blood, if you like, on this particular image. And I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to take our fingers out of play because I don't really want our fingers in there. But what I want to do, actually, this is nice red, but it looks a bit murky. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just increase the colour in there. So if I go to our adjustment panel again, and this time I'm going to go to our Hue and Saturation panel, and I'm going to do, if I take our slider, our red, I'm going to drop our master, I'm going to go into where our drop down box that says master, and then I'm going to go down to red because it's a red colour, and I'm just going to move that to the right, and that's going to deepen that red. Looks better. Right, now it's looking much better. So now you can see, you know, even redder. How's that? That looks much nicer, doesn't it? So before and after, it just brightens the whole thing and makes it look really nice. So the lesson to be learned is that if you use your selection brush, whatever you select is the only thing that's going to be affected by your change. And that can be for anything. We can make things blurry if we wanted to. If, for argument's sake, I take our selection brush, make sure I'm always in the layer. Always go back to layer 1, otherwise I'll start changing the colours and stuff, which we don't want to do. So go back to layer 1, which is our copy layer. And if I was to select the cat daughter in this one, oh, don't want to take that away, I want to add it. In fact, I'll take it away. There you go. So now I've just selected, this is just an example, so I'm just going to select their body. I'm going to not do the shade, but the body. So because that's selected, whatever I do now was only going to be affected, or will only take effect in the areas that I've selected. So if I wanted to go and blur that image, in that part of the image, I could go to Gargassian blur, and I can blur it, and you can see. So straight away, she's just now blurred. Just that part of the image is blurred. but I don't want to do that, so I'll just go backwards. Right, so, and if you want to know how we've done that, by the way, so to go back to a previous state, so it's basically like undo, it's just Control and the letter Z. So Control and Z is just an undo shortcut. Okay, so, but you can do anything. So I could go in and let's see, I could say increase the exposure, but I would only increase the exposure on that part of the image that I highlighted. So I could make it brighter, just that part of the image. I could make it darker. See? Now we can start to fine tune. Now that we know all of that, what we can do is start to fine tune just little bits of our image. We don't have to change everything. We only have to change those bits that we want to change. We can make things better or worse. I want to show you something which I think is quite cool. So if you've got a model and for argument's sake you wanted to give it a nice suntan, and this is a great example. So you've got somebody, not this particular model, but just in general, you could have someone who's a bit pale or they looks a bit pale and you think you need a bit more colour in the skin. So what we could do is go back and we could select our model, or select the skin areas, if you like. I'm going to take a hair out of this if I can, just a little bit, just to show you, because don't really need a hair change colour, really. Just their face, we'll do that. And this is really a great little weapon to have in your arsenal as well. Actually, make somebody look really healthy. Not that this young lady doesn't, but we've all been there. Okay, so just tidy this up. Make sure I get my selection right. So until I'm happy. Okay, that'll do. That'll do just for the purpose of this. So I want to give this young lady a nice suntan. All right. All I have to do, now that layer 1 is selected, yep, go down to this little tool at the bottom, which is this little circle with a half, well, it's a diagonal dark area. We've used the gradient tool on this before, but this time I'm going to go to solid color. So I'm going to go and pick a solid color. Doesn't matter, what it starts off at, it's where you end up as. And then I'm going to find a color that's pretty similar to what I want. So it could be, I don't know, say this particular color. So she's been to Liverpool and now she's got orange skin. So, which we don't, obviously that's a full color. We don't really want that to be, but that's the kind of tone I want in there for their suntan. So I'm going to press OK. Now, that's great, but it's not where I want to be. So all I've got to do, now that that's filled in, all I have to do, in my layers panel, you can see there it says normal in this box. So everything always resorts to normal. So we need to change it. So we need to change it from normal, and we can go down to saturation. Yeah. You can try all of these, but saturation for this particular effort. So there you go. So right from the word go, right from now, so here she is, and here she is now with a bright orange tan. Now, bright orange tan isn't really where we want to be, so we want to just bring that down. It's the right colour, but we want to just tone it down. So all I need to do is go to the opacity button, or the opacity slider. So where you got saturation, next to it you got opacity and fill. Go to opacity, come down to your slider, and then all you got to do is just reduce that until you're comfortable with it. And I think that's kind of 51% there is exactly spot on. What I don't want to do is leave this young lady with orange eyes, which which will happen because you've coloured the whole area. Although it's a saturation, so all the other colours are not really affected. They're still there. So, but our eyes, because they were white, will now be covered. So all I need to do, as I've explained to you before, and this is another great lesson, whenever you make a new layer, whenever you do a new action in layers, it gives you a mask, which is always a box on the side. Yeah, and it's either black or white. Okay, so in this case, it's the black box. Yeah, next to our color, that's what we just put in, is the color. So go and click on this little box. That basically is what we've done here. So we've put that color in that box. What I want to do though is take things away from there because I don't want those eyes in color. Right. So I'm not going to take away all the colors. All I'm going to do is remove the color I added. So it's going to go back to whatever it was underneath. And what was underneath was our layer 1. And the way to do that is go to our brush tool, our normal brush tool. Make sure that we want to make sure there's a brush, actually. There you go. Not my signature. A bit smaller. Just make this brush a bit smaller. Cool, okay. And then I'm going to make sure that our background on here is black. Or foreground, sorry, is black. And all I'm going to do is just paint over that area. And what that does, that removes this action. This action was to give this young lady a tan. So if I just run that tool over there and bring your eyes back into play, marvelous. If I make a mistake, that's not a problem. All I need to do is change it to white, and then I can paint it back in, and it'll change it back to what it was. Yeah. So I don't lose anything. So I'm just going to bring back the eyes. So we're all about being natural. Right. Now, if we go back to our picture, we've now got, this is with the tan effect, if you like, and that's without. So that's the young lady before, and that's the young lady after. If that's still too orange, again, just all you got to do is just keep coming down on your slider and then make it and adapt it to whatever you want it to be. Brilliant. Okay. When all that's done and we've got all these little layers, if we want to close that up, we just go to right click on our original background layer if we're happy and that's where we're going to stay, and then just right click and then merge all the visible layers. That's our finished picture. So I hope you like that tutorial. There's a few little bits in there which are really useful, but don't forget, all these things are doable. Just in summary, so create a background layer, use your selection tool to select whatever part of the image you want to change. I'll just show you again very quickly. In this particular case, we'll have a look at this shirt. Yeah, I'm not going to go into it and make it mega detailed. Go up to solid color and we can change the color of the shirt to blue, whatever, doesn't matter. Change it from normal through to, we can have color, saturation. Oh, that's quite smart. Look at that. Hue, divide. You can try all these different things, whatever you want. Quite like this one. Yeah. And then go and bring down the opacity to get to the color that you desire. it might not be subtract, it might be back to whatever you like. Well, you can do whatever you like. Just, have a play. So that was the colour we selected. Again, just bring it down. Change the colour of the shirt. It's really simple, isn't it? It's not hard. Okay, that's today's video. Cheap and cheerful. If you like it, subscribe to our channel and feel free to share our YouTube details with anybody you like, because obviously the more people that watch them, the more videos we can make, and it's good fun. Alright, take care guys, and any questions as usual, drop me a line, and I'll speak to you soon, I hope. Okay, bye.